going to show you how to use this boss battle spreadsheet to make an engaging game for your students. So the first thing you need to do is get a copy of this sheet. And you can do that by either clicking the link that we've got down in the comments, or you can click on the link from my blog post if you have the blog post open. So when this comes up, you're going to click make a copy. This is going to make a copy just for you. So we've got our copy. And the first thing I'm going to do is, since this is going to be your copy, you're going to rename it. So I'm going to call this Goodson Simple Boss Battle just because this is a new copy that I've made. Once you've got your copy, this is yours forever. And as you can see, you can use this time and time again. The first thing you need to do before anything else is to go ahead and get the script authorized. So there's some coding in the background here that runs, but the first time you run it, it's going to have you verify. So just pick any one of these buttons, doesn't matter which one, and click. That's going to run the script for the first time, and it's going to first pull up authorization. You're going to hit OK. You're going to click your GCS account. You're going to say allow. Now that dialog will never pop up again. From now on, when you click the button, it's just going to run the script. Now, what is all this doing? Let me explain. The way this is going to work is this is a review game. You're going to come up with a list of questions and answers on paper for you, and then you're going to put this spreadsheet up on your LED. The way this works is the students are engaged in a massive fight between an evil boss monster and them. And you have the name up here, which you can change. And you've got the class name, which you can change. You can also change these pictures by deleting it and inserting another image if you want. Bring this guy back. So how does this work? Well, you have a number of hit points here. This represents how much life each side has left. The idea is that the students are trying to answer questions correctly to knock the troll's hit points down to 0. And the troll is going to use any missed questions to knock the class down to 0. So the way this works is you pick a student, you ask them the question. If they get it right, they have successfully hit the boss and they're going to do damage to him. So we simply go to the board and you click the boss damage button, and you'll notice it took some points off the boss. If they get the question wrong, it's going to damage the class, and you hit the class damage button, and that will knock some points off the class. And you just keep repeating as needed until one side gets down to 0. And if the boss gets the class down to 0, then the class sees defeat right here. If the class gets the boss down to 0, they see victory. And it's that simple. That's what you should do the first time you run through the game, is just do a very straight up simple boss damage, class damage. Now, what's neat about this is as you do it again, you can incorporate some new things. One of the things I like is to do cards. Now, I've created a card template in Canva that you can use to make your own cards and print them out. You'll notice there's a couple there already, but then there are more down there that you can make. And what these cards are for is there's something that you can give the kids as a reward during the course of the week or 2 weeks before the review. If they do good things with behavior, or if they make a good grade, you can reward them with one of these cards to use at the review. And the cards work differently depending on what you need them to do. The simplest one is the shield. The way it works is, let's say you ask a question, the student misses the question, but then that student or any other student can throw down the shield card. And that means that instead of pressing the button to damage the class, you just don't press the button. And you say, the shield has worked and you're protected. And then you move on and ask the next question. Since it's a one-time use, you take the card back from the student, and then you can recycle it later. One of the other cards could be the critical card. And the way that would work is the student, you ask the question to the student, they get it correct, and then they say, I want to use my critical card. And when you do that, not only do you click the button to damage the boss, like so, but then you say, oh, that's a critical, and you click critical, and it doubles the damage that was last done. The same thing would go for the class, though, because if they use the critical, and back that one up, you could also use the critical differently. You could say that students can declare a critical before they get asked the question. If they get the question right, the boss takes damage, and you hit critical to do more. If they get it wrong, then the class takes damage, and then the class gets the critical. So that gets a little strategy going on. Other cards, I've put a few buttons in to make them work. One is the fireball, and that's just a way the students can use that card to do extra damage to the boss after they answer their question. And when you click fireball, it just takes 10 points off the boss. Same thing, if the class needs to get some points, someone can use the second win card, and as you'll notice, that just adds some points back to the class. And that's pretty much it. You can come up with any cards you want to do things that don't require any buttons to be pressed. Now, there are a few other things you can do. If you look on the stats tab, you'll notice, first of all, there's a reset button. You see here what the current hit points are. If you hit the reset for next battle button, it will actually reset those back to the maximum hit points so that you're ready to start again for the next battle. A couple other things you can do. You definitely don't want to mess with this. This has got some formulas in it that will mess everything up. But you can adjust the boss max hit points and class max hit points. Well, why would you want to do that? Well, let's say we don't have time to do as many questions as it would take to get one side down to 0 from 100. So if that's the case, just change the hit points in the green box to 30 and 30. Now, both sides have less hit points, and you can make the battle a lot quicker. That's a lot fewer questions. You could also use this to sort of make it easier or harder as need be for the students. So if you want to make it harder, give the boss a lot of hit points and leave the class at just a few. Same thing goes the opposite way. Give the class a lot of hit points, give the boss only a few, and now this battle gets a lot easier. So that's a good way to kind of build students up if they're not as confident with the material, to give them a chance to still succeed. One other thing you can do, let's say we're in the middle of a battle and I accidentally press the button twice instead of once. Uh-oh, so now the boss had too much damage done. One thing you can do is you can go back here. This shows how much damage everybody's taken. So if you mistakenly hit it twice and it did 6 points damage, you can add points back in and just say, he's only taken 10 points damage. And as you can see, that shows up here. Hope you enjoy this game. Hope your class enjoys this game, and good luck reviewing.